Well, the Cultural Mosaic Festival in Regina is a lot of things to a lot of people. For some, it's just a good time. There's food, there's drinks, there's dancing and music. And if you learn something about another culture in the process, all the better. But for many of the people who volunteer at these pavilions, Mosaic is their chance to showcase the cultural work they do all year. There are language courses, cultural dance classes, holiday celebrations, and a sense of community that really borders on family. And it's something that I know intimately. I grew up Polish dancing and performing at Mosaic, and now my children get to have that same experience this year. We'll be in Regina this weekend, and we'll be part of the thousands of people celebrating Mosaic. So today on Blue Sky, we'll hear from some of those volunteers about the work they do year-round to maintain their culture. And we want to hear from you. What do you do to connect with your culture? Why is that important to you? You can call 1-800-716-2221. You can also email bluesky@cbc.ca. Well, Muna Ciman is perhaps best known as Aunty Muna, and she takes that role seriously. Muna grew up in Sierra Leone and was living in Ghana when her family applied to come to Canada nearly 30 years ago. And over the last 3 decades, she's become a fierce champion for multiculturalism and has forged deep friendships with people from all different backgrounds. Muna is a board member with Mosaic. She'll be there tonight, tomorrow, and Saturday, leading groups of VIPs on the rounds. But first, she's joining us in our Regina studio. Muna, welcome to Blue Sky.
Thank you very much, Nicole, and thanks for the invitation to be here. As I said, I don't take this type of invite lightly. Thank you very much.
It's great to have you. And we are kind of moving beyond the party that is Mosaic, right? It's a fun event, but the real goal of this event is to be a cultural exchange, right? So how did you first get involved in Mosaic?
Well, I got involved in Mosaic. As you said, I got invited to be part of the cultural exchange and also to be part of the organizing team. And I really want to thank Grush Bernard for inviting me on the team, as she calls it, the dream team.
The dream team. But this is quite deep personal work that you do, right? I know you're involved in a lot of different things, and there's a lot of logistical stuff that you have to do when you're a board member. But the meaning of Mosaic and what it's brought you and your family, tell me a little bit about that.
For me, I don't take multiculturalism lightly. As I always tell people, cultural identity is what is the makeup of your DNA. When you lose culture and it's part of your heritage, culture identity is your DNA, is part of who you are. So it's very important to me, and I take it as my social responsibility. So when I was asked to be part of the logistical makeup of Mosaic, I was highly elated, and I cherish it a lot.
I totally hear what you're saying. At the same time, some people might sometimes be critical of Mosaic, right? That it kind of plays on some cultural stereotypes that, it's about food and dance. But based on what I'm hearing from you, it's more than that. So what do you say to some of that criticism that may come up?
Well, as I know we talked before inviting me here, it's also educational awareness, and you really cannot stop people from being stereotyped. And I know I've sat in the office with Grush when people are coming in. She always asks the question, what do you enjoy about Mosaic? She does an educational piece. We do educate people. Mosaic is not only about dancing, about food. It's about educational piece. It's education. And I saw the growth of where Mosaic was 50 years ago and where it is now. I saw the eagerness about Mosaic and the work people put in Mosaic. If you are not part of Mosaic, you really don't have a clue the work and the energy that goes into Mosaic. It's a lot of work. The educational aspect of Mosaic, the cultural identity of Mosaic, the amount of work that goes into Mosaic is, I can't even tell you, and it's not even underestimated. I'm telling you, it's a lot of work. It's not only about dancing. It's about the cultural identity that comes with Mosaic. It's not, I can't tell you about it. I'm telling you, it's not only about dancing. It's the I'm telling you, it's a lot of work. It's not only about dancing.
Yeah, so much work.
It's a lot of work,
yeah.
and it has an educational piece. It's the aspect of yearning to know who you are and embracing it.
How have you seen, I know you talked about the growth that you've seen, but how much has Regina changed in those 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years that you've witnessed Mosaic? I mean, the makeup of the city is different, so that's got to change Mosaic too.
You see, when I came here, like the 1994, when I came here, you could see the dot. You passed through the street of Regina. You could count the amount of black people, the amount of people who are around here who are immigrant, but now you cannot even count. You see the fabric of people living in Regina. You could see the mosaic of Regina. Like for us to have 18 pavilions, everybody is eager. Even I can tell about the spirit of China. It's like, thank God for Nelson Inc., who is saying, if you are not able to have your own pavilion, come and join my pavilion. I will welcome you to come and join my pavilion. Because you are not able to have the resources to have your own pavilion, I'll welcome you. Okay? So his pavilion is people who are not able to have their own pavilion. You are welcome to be part of my pavilion.
We actually have somebody who has kind of treated their pavilion as that umbrella for a few different countries. So I want to introduce people to Cynthia Kalina, who's the president of the Hispanos Regina organization that's bringing the Hispanos pavilion to the city this year. She came to this country to study in 2007 and has since made Regina home. And now she shares her Peruvian culture here and Canadian culture in her home country of Peru. So to tell us more, we've got Cynthia in studio as well. Cynthia, hello.
Hi, Nicole. How are you?
I'm Leisha. You've been talking to Nicole, our producer. We're like practically the same. This happens all the time, and it always
Leisha.
makes me chuckle. So Cynthia, Nicole, who's a key part of the show, was mentioning that your pavilion does include a lot of different countries, right? Do you want to just tell us a little bit about your pavilion?
Yes. The Hispanic pavilion is the first. We're going to be. It's going to be the first time. So we are. We're having too many countries: Spain, Mexico, Colombia, Peru, my own Bolivia, Chile, Argentina. We have all the countries that speak Spanish. And this is our first time. We put a lot of work. I hope you can visit. It's going to be amazing. There are like more than 200 volunteers that are making this pavilion big.
Well, I will absolutely stop by. I want to know what this has meant to you personally, because you haven't lived here all that long. So I guess my first question is, what brought you to Saskatchewan, and what about Regina specifically?
In 2007, I came to Canada. I studied in Toronto. I arrived in Toronto. I studied 5 years, and then I moved to Saskatchewan. And I chose Regina because I noticed a statue outside City Hall. There was a picture on YouTube that it was cut in half with a luggage. So I thought that represent myself as an immigrant, because we are kind of cut ourselves in half, in a sense of we're always thinking back home because we grow there. We have, there are roots. So I think that it is like it represents an immigrant. We are physically ourselves here, but I think we are emotionally in both. We get attached to this country, we get attached to this city, but we're also thinking always about our home, or our birth home.
So how does Mosaic help you stay connected to who you are as a Peruvian person?
Well, this event is amazing. I think it just remembers me where I am from, where I come from, all my roots, my culture. We have busy lives, but there is a time to reflect and to think, here, like, that is where I came from, and I'm proud of it, and I'm proud of being in such an amazing country. All the countries, all cultures have amazing things. They have unique things, and I think that is the beauty of being different. We all have beautiful, amazing things to share and beautiful things to teach to the world and to show. And why not be proud of it?
And how do those connections? How are they with you all year? You know, we're talking about Mosaic, which is a 3-day festival. And again, my connection has always been to the Polish community. And I would call many of them, they're like family practically. They were like some of my best friends growing up. It was this, you know, additional family that I got through dancing and through that community. And so I'm wondering how you stay connected with people all year. Is it part of your life all year round?
Yeah, like I think we grow as a community, and we kind of feel like we are family, because we not only share the Mosaic is 3 days, but there is a lot of involved activities, meetings. You get to know each other, and it is very special because you kind of know people, and then you treat them like family, and then you help each other, and that's amazing.
Muna, do you want to chime in there about how these cultural groups, how they form that kind of extended family for people? Do you see that in some of the work that you've done with Mosaic?
Well, I can tell you, even planning Mosaic alone, the amount of meetings that is involved, the planning committees, I see the amount of meetings, even forget about the Mosaic planning committees, the committee at large. I see how many times these members meet, the subcommittees, the children, the babies, like even when what she's talking about, bringing the babies, like the amount of extended families. I see her smiling. I'm telling you, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of camaraderies. I'm telling you, I don't envy these people. There's a lot of work that is involved. Like, kudos to them.
Yeah.
And I know they work as a team. It's a team effort. It's a lot of work. I give kudos. I can't wait to see the benefit of their work, and I can just imagine the smile. Like, even when we came in before you started, she was so proud to show me her pavilion. Like, she was so eager to show me her place. I hope you come and see my pavilion. I hope you come and see my pavilion. She was just showing me the pictures. Like, when you go to their pavilion, you could see everybody showing me, that you could see the smile on their faces to show me the years of work. Like, it takes like a year to 6 months.
Oh yeah, totally.
Of work, yeah.
So Cynthia, tell me a little bit about what you have planned for your pavilion. What can people expect?
So we are having everybody have, like, we have a lot of things planned. First, you're going to feel like you're going into an airport, and you're going to pass security, and they're going to stamp your passport, and then you're going to you're going to feel like you're entering into an airplane. And then you're going to see the shows. We have 2 stages. We have first live music, and they are going to welcome you. We have vendors, and then we have Tropezón and Agave, who are going to make an amazing food. It's just special for this for this event. Like, they don't usually, like, they have their restaurants, right, all year long, but they are making special food just for this for these 3 days of Mosaic. And then you're going to see the big stage. Dancers. We have dancers coming from internationally. We have local dancers. So we have more than 12 groups. So there is a lot of dance, a lot of you're going to see a lot of people. Oh, we're going to be dressing up as a flight attendants as well. So you will know who's going to be able to help you if you need something. There's going to be lots of drinks. And the decoration, I also wanted to have get the opportunity to thank everybody of the community and to the multicultural, because this is just amazing how everybody can work and like a work team, and I'm very proud of it. Yeah.
Well, it was great to meet you today. I'll try to say hi when we're doing our stops at different pavilions in Mosaic this weekend. So, Cynthia, I'll let you go because I think you've got more work to do. You got to head out. So, Cynthia, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
That is Cynthia Kalina, president of the Hispanos on Regina Association. She will be at one of the pavilions this weekend. And we also have with us today Muna Ciman, who is a board member with Mosaic. We're hoping you'll share with us what it means to you to stay tied to your culture, to your community, and perhaps Mosaic has been a big part of that. So 1-800-716-2221. You can also email us, bluesky@cbc.ca. Well, for more than a century, Ukrainians have made their way to Saskatchewan, and throughout that time, they've been keeping their traditions and music alive here. The Poltava Ukrainian Pavilion at Mosaic features the musical stylings of a century-old orchestra. The CBC's Jenny Whitfield stopped by a rehearsal to find out what that orchestra has meant to Ukrainian people over the years.
I have a friend who texts me sometimes, messaging me and said, like, can you pray for us? We're under shelling. That was hard. It's just hard to hear that. My name is Natalia Koshelieva and I'm a member of Poltava Orchestra. In 2015, my husband found a job in Canada and moved here. And in 2016, me and two our kids joined him here. That was a surprise, and honestly, I didn't want to come. At first, I was pretty happy to live in Ukraine. When we first came here, like the people who met my husband here, like Ukrainians who lived here before, somehow, I don't know even how they connected. So they had a connection with the Poltava orchestra and musicians or some conductors. So they introduced me, they brought me here. And it was 2 months, I think, before Mosaic. So it was kind of hard because a lot of music I needed to learn, like new stuff, new music. When we were in the tour last August, when we were in the tour in Portugal and Spain, we met some refugees, Ukrainian refugees who fled from the war and lived there. And when they see us, they cried. You know, as soon as they didn't even hear what we played, but as soon as they see the costumes, when we walked by, they cried and burst in tears, and that was very special. Of course, they hug us. Of course, they met us. Of course, like, hey, you're Ukrainians, and we're so happy to see you. The Ukrainian culture is so deep and so beautiful, and the music is so nice, and it's good that that music will be well known and cherish and understand and support it.
Natalia Koshelieva is a member of the Poltava Ukrainian Pavilion. You heard her speaking, and she's part of the orchestra, and we just heard some of that beautiful music. So Natalia, welcome to Blue Sky.
Thank you for inviting me here.
Yeah, it's wonderful to have you. And I definitely heard in that piece just how supported you felt by this community. I'm wondering how that's translating to other family members. I understand that your daughter is now going to be dancing.
She's a dancer for a while right now.
And what does that mean for her?
Oh, so when we first came here, both of my kids and we started to play in the orchestra, and the Ukrainian orchestra. Me and my daughter, we played violin, and my son played oboe. And in a couple years, so he moved away to another, like, music education and youth orchestra. Here's South Saskatchewan Youth Orchestra, and he started his music career. My daughter decided to stay in the orchestra, and at some point she said, like, no, I want to dance. I like to dance, and can I do it? So she started with a teenage group, what it's called, I think, Lilea, and then in the Poltava ensemble, like ensemble, and then she moved to understudy to pre-Poltava. So now she's in the adult parts, and she's dancing for a while and so happy about it. I think she lives sometimes from rehearsal, from the practice to practice, It's just the main thing, the highlight of the week or highlight of the day. I have a practice.
Yeah, so obviously she loves dancing. But I'm wondering what it does for her and for your other child to have that connection to their culture. Because sometimes when people move away from their home country, they move to a new place, there's efforts to integrate, to fit in, and there's always that fear, right? That culture, that language could be lost. And so I'm wondering what this group has done for your kids in that respect.
It's more for them, it's kind of like educational, what it's the previous speaker talk about is a little bit. It's educational part. Yes, at home, that's funny. At home, we do speak our own language, but my kids, between themselves and with their friends, they speak English, and I'm always reminds them, no, turn back to your own language. No, I don't want you to forget your own language. I don't want you to forget Ukrainian. So keep speaking, but sometimes it's hard even for them. But to dance, to be a part of the ensemble, for most of those kids is a learning process. Even how the costume, the name of the costume, the name of the apron, and the name of the blouse, because different regions, in Ukraine, has a different customs names, different dance names. What it's mean, that name of the whatever song or movement, or has a Ukrainian name. And so they learn these. They learn the traditions. They learn the instruments, the Ukrainian instruments. They learn the modern Ukrainian music, what we're playing right now in the orchestra, as an orchestra piece without the dancers. So they learn a lot. And sometimes while we're playing, I could say, oh, actually, there is a word for that music, and this is the song, and this is something about that and that. So it's educational process.
Yeah. How do you think being part of Mosaic has helped you learn about other cultures and living in Regina and being exposed to other cultures? Because this really is about a sharing. It's an opportunity to learn, right, about other cultures. And so what opportunities have you had to learn from people from other countries who also now make Canada home?
Since I came to Canada, I'm sorry, but I've never been in the other pavilions except Poltava
because you're too busy.
Just because I'm so busy.
Yeah, of course, I understand that.
I'm so busy playing there all the time. I even don't have a minute or a day, or moment to run and sneak and like sneak peek a little bit, kind of like, oh. But I'm so glad that the people coming and I see visitors from different countries, different nationalities, and they just enjoying our culture, what I'm so happy about. I had a very nice opportunity to a little bit connect with Latina Pavilion because I playing in the Poltava Orchestra, and also I'm playing in the University Orchestra, UVR Orchestra, and the last performance was with the Mexican group, what it's presented in the Latina Pavilion. So I really enjoyed it.
Oh.
And just happy.
Yeah, and we're going to hear a bit from that group a little bit later on the show. So that was a lovely introduction. Now I'm even more eager to hear some music from that pavilion. Natalia, I really appreciate you talking with us today and enjoy playing with the orchestra this weekend. And thank you for sharing a bit of your culture with us. Take care.
Thank you. See you. Bye.
Bye. That is Natalia Koshelieva, a member of the Poltava Ukrainian Pavilion. We also have with us today Muna Ciman, who is a board member with Mosaic. She's been listening to all of these people share their stories with us today here on Blue Sky. Muna, Natalia talked about how, she's got visitors coming to her pavilion to learn about Ukrainian culture. And there is that sharing, right? It is an opportunity to learn. And so I'd like to ask you a little bit about your own journey, learning from people who have a different background than your own. What has that been like?
Well, it's so amazing. Well, sometimes I feel not sorry, but I feel so. I empathize with all these pavilions who does not have the opportunity to visit other pavilion and see how other pavilions, how the different culture look more than theirs. And then you don't compare, but just see how unique other pavilions look, other culture look. But then we have the opportunities to see how other cultures look. And then we don't compare cultures. We just see, then we say, wow, see how amazing. And then we cherish how rich and cherish our culture. And then we say, yes, we are rich culture. And then we say, look how rich Regina is. And then we say, yes, we are people of diverse culture. And that's why we say Regina is a rich place. Come and live in Regina. Regina is a place to live. You don't have to buy a ticket. You've been around the world in 3 days, free of charge. You just have to embrace culture. Why don't we live together and embrace each other? Regina is so that's why I say the young people, come and see how blessed you are. So when we see these young people, that's like your kids, like Lisa's kids who will be dancing this weekend, like your kids who will be dancing this weekend. That's why we say, let's teach these young people, because the young people, they are the one going to change this world and fight racism.
Yeah.
For the young adult, for the young people, the adults, it doesn't mean we are giving up on them. Let's teach the young people.
I'm all for that. And, it is quite a special thing. And we're going a day early just so we can have the time to go to other pavilions and for my kids to see that.
Yeah.
But I have found something really special that I don't know if I would have been able to put my finger on this prior to experiencing this with my kids, because they just started dancing this year. But I've been reflecting on my own experiences growing up. And so, we didn't have Polish language at my house. I'm kind of like that one orchestra member who talks about family members coming, 100 years ago. It's like I'm quite removed. It's not like my parents came here. So the connection maybe isn't quite as strong as it is for other people. But at the same time, I grew up being exposed to the Polish language, and I can't speak a word of it, but I can recognize it, and there's that familiarity that I feel around it, and it helped me then, hear other languages, and it just sort of made me aware of cultural difference in a way that I hadn't really thought about. And so now my kids are being exposed to the Polish language, and they're probably not going to pick up a ton either, but at the same time they'll have just that little nugget of knowledge, and then I hope that makes them just more empathetic and more open to other cultures too. And one thing, Muna, I've been told that you are really intentional with this in exposing yourself to other cultures. And I'm told that you're often in the front row with other grandmothers at powwows. Mm-hmm. Why is that important to you?
Because what happened? Culture. When I think about the role culture and tradition plays in building, in nurturing children, it's very important, because what happened when I look at the impact culture plays in the attachment, in the resilience of building our children that makes up the nation. Because when you build up children in their infancy, you build up not only a nation, but you build up the family, the community, which builds up a nation. Because look at what is happening in our world today. Look at what is happening in our world today, right here in Regina. So you know what I did? I intentionally went and did my special in my own way, in the spirit of reconciliation. I did my special. I danced powwow. I danced traditional powwow, because culture is what makes me a full an identity. Because culture makes who I am. It's not hard to learn a language if you are intentional. Culture is easy to learn if you are intentional. So your children, they will learn the culture very fast. Put them in front of the TV. Go buy a Polish language. Put it on. They will learn that language. They will teach you, Nicole. They will teach you, Lisa. Put that tape on. Put that tape on.
Yeah.
Tell them if you learn a Polish language twice an hour a day, I'll buy you these toys that you want.
It's so true, Muna. It's so true. I want to introduce you to another guest that we have. Maria Legoriatis is a youth ambassador with the Hellenic Greek Pavilion at Mosaic. She was born in Canada, but has managed to maintain strong cultural ties to her parents' homeland, and she joins us on the line right now. Maria, welcome to Blue Sky.
Thank you so much for having me.
How much is being Greek a part of your identity?
I would say being Greek makes up a very large part of my identity. Like Muna was saying earlier, it is your cultural identity makes up your DNA, and I feel like that is very strong in my life, at least. The Greek community is very, very roots oriented, and we want to stick to tradition, and the ladies and like our grandparents and parents are very, very efficient in keeping that in our lives. So it makes up a very large part of my life for sure.
And you speak the language? You speak Greek?
I do, yes.
And how did you learn the language?
So a few different ways. Our community does have a Greek school that ranges from kindergarten to grade 6. But growing up, my grandparents from Greece would live with us 6 months on, 6 months back in Greece, and they didn't speak any English. So you had to kind of learn to fend for yourself, but it came along because that's all we heard growing up. And still to this day, like my grandma that is living here, she really only speaks Greek to us, as well as my parents.
And I understand that your church plays a really important role in the Greek community in Regina. Can you tell us a bit about that? Like, what church are we talking about?
Yes. So it is St. Paul's Greek Orthodox Church. And a lot of our community, like my grandparents were, like my grandpa was one of the first people that come to Canada, and they all built the church. So we have very strong connections to that because it's not just random people that have made this a thing for us. It is our own family. So a lot of us want to uphold and keep those traditions going, not only for us, but for the sake of our ancestors and grandparents that have done it for us. Sorry.
I was just going to say, because there are many people who are second generation or even third generation kids who are trying to figure out how their parents or their grandparents, country fits into their own identity. And it does sound like, your family connections are clear in how you're carrying that on. You've been very intentional about maintaining those connections. Why is that so important to you?
Well, along with the church, a lot of anything revolving around being Greek is kind of under the church. So our Greek dance organization is under the church. We have a very large youth group that is also under the church. So a lot of the events and activities that a lot of us partake in revolve around the church. So we all kind of root back to that. So it all is a cycle that it is very difficult. The older generations have almost made it very difficult for us to break free because you are so tied with your community in every sense of the way.
What are you looking forward to most at Mosaic this weekend?
There's a few things. It's hard to choose. I am dancing myself and I'm ambassador this year, but I'm also teaching a group, I'm getting to see Mosaic from a different lens because I've been teaching them for around 2 years now. And even this year, I can see it so much more. Like the more confidence they're gaining with their dancing skills, you can see how much the more they're embracing their culture. And like some of the kids are hanging out more and just practicing Greek dance and wanting to learn more of the language. So I'm very excited to see them perform because they're not even excited for their own parents to see. They're bringing their friends to show them their culture and show off their skills. So I'm really excited to see that.
Is there a food item or anything like that you're looking forward to having this weekend?
Again, you're giving me some hard questions here. Well, of course, the Greek desserts are a staple. We have the baklava, loukoumades, but we have some Greek poutine and the souvlaki. You can never go wrong. Honestly, the entire menu is a 10 out of 10.
So I definitely hear pride as you talk about all of this. I hear that pride.
100%. I'm very, very proud to be Greek, and I'm very proud of my community for what they've put on and been able to do over the years, because we are all, again, volunteer-based, but we never force our volunteers. They do it out of the love they have for the community like I do myself.
Maria, so good to talk to you today. Enjoy this weekend.
Thank you so much. Looking forward to seeing you.
Our guest today has been Muna Deciman, also known as Aunty Muna to a lot of folks. She's a board member with Mosaic. She's going to be there tonight, tomorrow, and Saturday, leading groups of VIPs on the rounds. So she's got a opportunity to visit a lot of different pavilions. That one, Muna, sounded pretty great. And it makes me think about how I know dancing and drumming has been a big part of your life. So what's it been like for you to share, that part of your culture with others here in Canada?
Well, I have been a drumming group with Joan Grafford. It's a skin and bone. As you know, music is part of the African tradition and also music, and I love dancing. I still drum once in a while, and I still dance if I have time.
Yeah, I think you'll be doing a bit of dancing this weekend, don't you think?
Of course, I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait. I eat less now. And as you know, I've lost some weight. but I'm looking forward to the dancing.
The dancing,
I don't know who found it, but I've lost some weight, but I don't know who found it, and I don't care who found it. But I'm looking forward to the dancing, of course. I really want to thank you and Lisa for inviting me, and looking forward. And I really want to thank all the pavilions for all the hard work each one of the pavilions have put in to make these 3 days a reality. And I want to thank all the many, many volunteers, and especially the youth. Yes. And as I told you, to bring a change in fighting racism, bringing diversity, inclusivity, is all in the hands of the youth.
Yeah.
We cannot, it doesn't mean we depend on the adult, the young adult, but again, moving forward in terms of education, we are going to continue the education, the awareness, the bringing about inclusivity, diversity, embracing the way our city is looking. Our city is looking so diverse. We need to embrace it. We need to be happy. Nicole, Lisa, you know when your mom was teaching in the schools, and I know how much your mom embraced diversity, how much she cared about the children in the school, bringing about loving the young people, loving the diversity in the school, in the inclusivity, helping young people, even you, Nicole, teaching, loving the young people, seeing, embracing diversity, loving everybody. So right now, when I see how much our city has looked, let me tell you something. What Regina is doing, what Regina Multicultural is doing, what Multicultural Council of Saskatchewan is doing, I'm not saying other cities are not doing it. We've had a lot of cities calling upon us, asking us, how do you guys do it? We want to learn from you guys. Okay?
That's special. That's special that people reach out to you like that.
We are so proud of what we are doing. Okay? So Mosaic has been going on for over 54 years. So we are so proud of what we are doing. So this is a day. Today is a day that we are all proud of. So we are going to cherish it, we embrace it. So we are going to continue this work. So we want to thank each one of you, including you guys, including CBC, including all the media, for telling the story.
Well, thank you, Muna. I got to go iron some shirts and get these costumes ready. And we're heading to my parents.
On the stage. And you continue, your children, let them continue dancing. If you need any dancing steps, I'm around to teach you guys.
You call Aunty Muna. Great to have you today, Muna. Enjoy the weekend. Thank you.
Anytime, okay. Keep up the good work, ladies.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah.
Bye. Muna Deciman, or Aunty Muna as she's widely known, is a board member with the Mosaic Cultural Festival. It does kick off tonight, runs tomorrow and Saturday in Regina. You can buy a 3-day pass for $15 for adults. Senior and youth pay $10 for a passport, and children under 10 are free with an adult. You can buy those passes at any of the pavilions, and a full list of the pavilions is available online. Search reginamosaic.ca. I'm Leisha Gravinsky. This has been fun. I'm so looking forward to this weekend. And I'm also looking forward to tomorrow's show. Still doing a show. We'll be on Blue Sky tomorrow because it is a big day for educators and families with children in public school. Tonight, we will know the results of the teachers' contract vote. So I'll be joined by the Minister of Education, Jeremy Cockrell, and STF President, Samantha Beacott. If you are a parent or a teacher, we'd like to hear your thoughts on tonight's results. So get ready to call the show. You can even email us right now, bluesky@cbc.ca, and we'll talk tomorrow.